We have a massive Andrew Wiggins update as it looks like he'll be representing Team Canada ahead of the Paris Olympics. Additionally, Vince Carter has spoken out on how he left Toronto, and it's leaving a pretty bad taste in the mouths of a lot of Toronto Raptors fans, as there wasn't really any apologetic tone in regards to what Vince Carter was saying in terms of his departure from the organization. Obviously, he's making the Hall of Fame, wants his jersey retired, so there's a ton of drama on that front. So lots of stuff to dive into today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything regarding this Toronto Raptors team this offseason. But let's dive into the first topic of discussion. We have a massive Andrew Wiggins update. Now, this summer, as with most summers, trade deadlines, any time of year really, there's always a few reports connecting Andrew Wiggins to the Toronto Raptors. But this summer, well, there are those rumors that percolated again, and some Raptors fans wouldn't mind him joining the Toronto Raptors via a Bruce Brown trade or something along those lines. What more Raptors fans, most of us being Canadian, are interested in is whether or not Andrew Wiggins will be representing Team Canada this summer at the Paris Olympics. And Andrew Wiggins directly addressed this because obviously when Nick Nurse was brought in as head coach at Team Canada, he said, you got to join the 3-year program. You got to play for us in all the qualifying tournaments and all these types of things if you want to be on the roster. Obviously, Nick Nurse parting ways with the Toronto Raptors, parted ways with Team Canada. Jordy Fernandez is the head coach now, and philosophies have changed a little bit, and Andrew Wiggins has essentially addressed whether or not he'll be playing for Team Canada or is hoping to play for Team Canada this summer. And news basically said, I'd be honored to play for our country, but we'll see what happens. Just stay tuned, and we'll see what the road brings. So basically, Andrew Wiggins, if he's not playing, it's no fault of his own. He said, I love playing for Team Canada when he played in 2016 and played in 2020. I was definitely enjoying it for myself, and it was fun every time. So those are a couple big quotes in regards to Andrew Wiggins, playing for Team Canada. Because one, we know he's open. We know he's willing to suit up for the squad this summer. Obviously, the Warriors getting knocked out early. Andrew Wiggins having his contract locked in for the next few years. There is zero excuses for Andrew Wiggins this go around for him to actually represent Team Canada, especially on the biggest stage in international basketball competition, for the Olympics. I mean, why wouldn't he? It makes sense. He wants to sort of be involved. Obviously, doesn't seem confirmed yet, but if he wants to play, I'd imagine Team Canada is going to take him. So if this is the case, I imagine that's the route. And the second thing as well, because the reason a lot of people have expected Andrew Wiggins to not play is essentially for how messy things have been in the past for Team Canada. Maybe Wiggins has had a sour taste in his mouth representing the country of Canada, in these sort of games because, things didn't really work out the way he was hoping for, especially in 2016 with Jay Triano benching him and then Aaron Dornekamp not boxing out and then us losing to Venezuela, in 2016. That game still hurts my heart. I'm passionate about Team Canada as I am with the Toronto Raptors. So, maybe Wiggins had a sour taste in his mouth there. That doesn't seem to be the case, as he's saying he loved playing for Team Canada, loved it. So that's all positive. Now, he did have a down year this year. Then some people are saying, oh, do we even really want him? Well, Andrew Wiggins is still a guy in the NBA in a down year, averaging 13 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists. Shot 36% from the field, or from the three-point line, and 45% from the field, right? Just 29 years old, 6'7", plays defense, and this Team Canada team needs exactly an Andrew Wiggins. Obviously, Dylan Brooks on the wing was a beast for us, in those FIBA qualifiers and all that type of stuff. That's huge. We love to see that, but Andrew Wiggins, when he played for us in 2020, was our bona fide star, was our bona fide top guy. So him being willing to play, eager to play, is a huge positive for this group. And the Raptors, Team Canada looks like it's going to have a really, really solid roster, for this Paris Olympics. I'll make it a little bit bigger here, but basically, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's had a resurgence in his career, bounced around to a couple teams, has established himself as one of the better on-ball defenders in the entire NBA, so that's great to see. Obviously, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, all elite sort of multi-way guys out there on the wing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, an MVP candidate. Jamal Murray, I don't want to say finals MVP candidate, finals MVP number 2 candidate, second in the running. And then Andrew Nembhard, who has been a beast for the Indiana Pacers, especially as of late. Kelly Olynyk and Dwight Powell on the front line. So again, we have a lot of stoppers, we have a lot of guards, we have a lot of players that, NBA caliber, NBA level at that 1 through 3 position. But our front court is a little bit iffy. There's question marks about what's happening. So Andrew Wiggins can slot in, play the power forward position at the international level, can guard players at an elite place, and still space the floor for this team. So Andrew Wiggins being willing to play, no matter if you like him, if you don't, if you're a guy that says, hey, he didn't want to play in the past, why should we let him play now? Regardless of all that, he is going to be a valuable piece to this Team Canada team if he's sort of able to suit up, if things sort of work out along those lines. So that's a good thing to see. And again, the roster is shifting in terms of who's allowed and stuff because of the 3-year window. Some people are saying, oh, he shouldn't just get it, right? Andrew Nembhard is a guy that was believed to be playing for Team Canada this summer, and he wasn't part of the 3-year window. Obviously was a bit too young to, be an established, guaranteed guy to get picked for these teams. Back 3 years ago when he was trying to make the league, was a second-round pick before his resurgence. So maybe a different situation there. Benedict Mathurin, you see the quote from Rick Carlisle that Mathurin as well as Andrew Nembhard will be two guys that are listed for Team Canada, want to be around the team, but obviously Benedict being a guy that's injured right now probably won't be cleared to play. So that sucks to see, making us need Andrew Wiggins even more. So that's a spot that the Team Canada is in, a huge positive, because we want all hands on deck for this summer, for the Paris Olympics. The USA stacked their team, especially bringing in Joel Embiid, so we want some all of our top talent being there on the squad. Wouldn't be surprised if Zach Edey ends up making that roster. Still surprised Chris Boucher has not played for Team Canada either, just given the fact his rim protection, at the 4 spot, could be very valuable with floor spacing and all those types of things. The Raptors need, Raptors too. Team Canada needs help in their front line, so that's something that needs to be figured out. But big news for Andrew Wiggins. But let's dive into the next topic of discussion. Next thing we're taking a look at is Vince Carter speaking out on Toronto. Now, I preface all my Vince Carter discourse with this. I am 24 years old. I did not witness any of Vince Carter's, impact and realization, all these types of things for Toronto, for Team Canada and stuff. That was before my time. And I get it. He impacted some people a little bit closer to their heart more than me. And I grew up. I was raised. My first encounter being passionate about the Toronto Raptors was the fam, everyone coming around, gathering around the screen. The Raptors are losing all their games, but we could get passionate, we can get hyped about booing this guy when the Brooklyn Nets came to town. The New Jersey Nets at the time. So basically, that's where I'm coming from. And more people, it seems like there's two big camps that Vince Carter says a quote that's nice, and everyone's like, oh yeah, let's go. And then he says something that's like this, which just came out, then the camp and my side of things get a little bit more outspoken. So just prefacing this, if you're a Vince Carter fan, I don't blame you. I'm not calling you stupid or disagreeing with you by any means, but I'm taking this from my perspective, my approach, because Vince Carter has come out and basically said this. I just feel like I handled everything the correct way with regards to how we had some stuff going on in Toronto. I had some conversations with people, and I made the decision that we're seeing now to the 20th power. So basically, he went on to say in an interview with Taylor Rooks that one thing I wasn't going to be is a locker room problem. I think that's what they were looking for. That's not my style, particularly after just telling you, like wanting to help other guys, drop gems on them. It's not me. It's like locker room problem. No. I'm more so I'm like, I want to play ball. That's it. And then also went on to say that there's so many things behind the scenes that now it is what it is. It was perceived to make me look like this, and that I just go back to my same question. That's the disappointing thing. More than anything is y'all know me. You know how much I love this game. You see the smile, the basketball was everything. It gave me every opportunity that I have today. I'm thankful for it. I just didn't understand it. I thought it all through. Now, Vince Carter. I get the narrative change. I get you're in the Hall of Fame. I get you desperately want that number 15 jersey retired. But I personally think this is a complete just paint very beneficial frame, the way for what Vince Carter ended up doing to the Toronto Raptors to sort of close off his career with the team. I mean, we can look at it directly. We can pull up the stats. In his final season with the Toronto Raptors, basically, the superstar, the guy that was in his prime, 15 points per game, 16 points per game. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 3.3 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.3 steals, and 0.8 blocks per night. 15 attempts per game. Said he wasn't going to dunk anymore. Immediate mid-season trade to the New Jersey Nets, a team that had more talent, had more sort of pieces available for it. His points per game jumped by 11 points. His rebounds went up, his assists went up, his steals went up, blocks stayed about the same, went down a little bit actually. But was taking more shots, was visibly more engaged, looking at the highlights and all those types of things. To say that he didn't quit, to say that he didn't absolutely give up on this franchise is an overt lie. He gave up on this Raptors team. He, faking injuries or not, he didn't give 100% of his effort. There's direct quotes. There are opposing players that came in and said Vince Carter was telling them the Toronto Raptors plays, in order to sabotage the team. He's coming out saying to the fan base, I'm not going to dunk anymore. Obviously being the human highlight reel, the guy that everyone wanted to see. He came out and did all these types of things, to the fans, mentioned this type of stuff. I mean, there is no arguments that Vince Carter gave up on this team. He did not handle things as well as possible. Obviously, the franchise themselves, the front office, they did not deal with things properly either. There's two sides to all of this story. But the fact that he's just coming out, not apologetic whatsoever, making these quotes, trying to frame things, oh, I'm perfect, why are the fans going at me, playing the victim card and stuff. No, Vince Carter, you were not a victim. You left Toronto in an absolutely immature and just foolish way for a star, for a face of the franchise, for a guy that wants his jersey retired. And yes, everyone wants to forgive him. And we have. We won a championship. I'm still a little bit spiteful, but that's just who I am. But you know what I mean? Like the franchise, we're cool with giving him video packages, bringing him to games, calling him a Raptors legend, rather than booing him every time you see him. But to put a jersey in the Raptors, especially before a guy like Kyle Lowry, especially before a guy like DeMar DeRozan, who embraced the city, did all these types of things, that would be sickening to me to see Vince Carter. I don't care the impact. The way you left, and you're just still just kind of denying it and how it all played out, all those types of things. Vince Carter should not get his jersey retired, in my opinion. That's just how it is. Not to say I think Vince Carter is a bad person. Obviously, that's just how things go or whatever. But you can't give up on a team, trash talk them publicly. He directly said in an interview he wasn't trying his hardest for the Toronto Raptors when he left. I don't know. I can rant about this for days. I get that some people love Vince Carter and had those highs. And maybe if I had those highs the same way I did for DeMar, Kyle Lowry, heck, a Pascal Siakam even, you know what I mean? Then maybe I'd be a bit more forgiving. But I'm not. I didn't live through it. And I'm making my voice heard because this is my YouTube channel. I can say whatever the heck I want. Anyways, you guys are the best. Subscribe to the channel if you like these updates. I've signed it out. Cheers.